my senior year of high school, I started training MMA. I didn't know what I was doing. I have two brothers, one older, one younger. So plenty of training partners in the house right there to start with. And my older brother was the one who got me into wrestling, and he basically made me wrestle. I was more of a soccer player actually in that time, but ironically, I would get in more fights than my brother, but he would always beat me up at the house, or when we would, kind of fight. He would get the better hand of me, but so I guess that kind of like triggered me into wanting to just get stronger, get better, and start training. And wrestling was definitely a big help. I remember as a freshman wrestling, I wrestled for Hilltop High School, and they were a great wrestling team, wrestling school. I had some good training partners who also started mixed martial arts training right after high school, and they helped me out along with my brothers, and we started buying DVDs. That was the first time we started seeing UFC and MMA. We would go to a place called The Warehouse back in the day, or Sam Goody's, that would sell DVDs of Pride, a mixed martial arts organization from Japan, really well known. Obviously, them and the UFC were the two biggest MMA promotions. And yeah, I remember my senior year of high school, we would go and save our money and go buy DVDs and watch the fights, because there was no pay-per-views. It would just turn into, or there probably was, we just didn't know about it because we weren't on the internet or any Facebook, social media, anything like that. So we would just wait until we go to the mall and then find another video. We'd look at the submission, and then we'd practice it on each other with practically the blind leading the blind. And then we started developing some techniques easy that way. And then I remember in Chula Vista, where I grew up, we found out that Ken Shamrock had a gym. It was called the Lion's Den, and it was on 3rd Avenue at the very, very end, on 3rd Avenue, and I want to say Palomar or something like that. So it was kind of in the hood of Chula Vista. So we went there one day to go train, and that's where I saw Dean Lister for the first time, and he was training with Vernon Tiger White, another MMA fighter. And we saw him fight. We knew of Ken Shamrock, and we were just excited. We never actually got to training in that gym. We just kind of watched, and I had it in the back of my head that, yeah, that was something very cool, that I thought that was so, just out of my, storyline, that I had no idea that I would ever participate in that. But, I just had this urge, I guess, right out of high school, when everybody was going to junior college and college. I didn't want to go to school. I hated school. I really did. School just wasn't for me. At the time, I would tell my parents I was going to college, but I would really go off. And that's where I learned of Fabio Santos. And that's where Dean was training his jiu-jitsu. He was teaching. He was actually a brown belt at Fabio Santos. So I went there, and the very first month that I signed up at Fabio Santos was the same month that Dean had gotten kicked out of the gym for whatever reason I didn't know. I was just some young 17-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever it was, who just knew nothing about anything, and then went in, and then the big name who I knew, was getting kicked out, and then a bunch of people left, a bunch of his friends left, and Greg McIntyre followed Dean, and then Dean started teaching at City Boxing. So City Boxing was like the first MMA gym that I started training at, and it's in downtown. It was a really good story because that's where I met Brandon Vera. Brandon Vera he was just starting his MMA career. He was the Muay Thai instructor there at City Boxing. Dean was the jiu-jitsu instructor. So I would get, you know, I signed up there at City Boxing thinking I'm going to take on this new journey as becoming a MMA fighter. And it was hard. I would go in there, and it was, you know, back in the day, you would get your ass kicked for sure. Your first day of training, people looked at you just like licking their chops, like, oh, let me, you know, try this new move out on this guy. And back then too, it wasn't really structured great. Like we were literally overflowing the mats and rolling off the mats. There was that many students, and the mat, you had to roll it out and it got rolled back in, and it was the same area, never got cleaned too. But it was the same area where they would do the kickboxing class right afterwards. And so yeah, it wasn't that popular, but it was very popular, like obviously when I went in there, and it was huge. It was a little gym, but it was so many great people I met from that gym and helped me get to that next you know, level.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. If you like content like this, go to the description below. The full video should be there. And do not forget to like and subscribe. 97% of the people that watch this channel are unsubscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. It does a lot for the channel, and it gives you more content like this. Have a good one.